Namaste, my name is Sanat Kumar. Welcome back to the Manana Podcast. Manana is a Sanskrit word that means reflection or contemplation. In this podcast, I'll be sharing my deep, insightful reflections for you to contemplate and hence live a life of fulfillment. I hope you find great value in today's episode. We saw the concept called life alignment, life in caps, where we saw what all is life in caps, and we saw why we need not be in union, but we can and must always be aligned. That concept will definitely help your decision making ability, and that led me to this episode, which is taken from blog 90, which was written in 16th January 2023, and this contains a compilation of the best decision making tools I have used during hard times and ones I continue to use whenever required. This is not the first or the last compilation I've done. You can go to my website sanatkumarnaibi.com and read other blogs which have other compilation and frameworks which are very useful. So here you go. Here are some of the best decision making tools I use. 1. Life alignment. We already saw this concept in last episode. To practice it, ask these questions. What activities make me feel lifelike, and vice versa? What events or gatherings make me feel lifelike, and vice versa? What kind of lifestyle makes me feel lifeful? Will this so-called opportunity move me towards life? Is that the only way? So these are all the questions you can ask, and here when I say life, it is all life in caps, capital letters. So we have already talked what is that. And speaking of, is that the only way, we come to our next decision making tool, which is actually the second half, or you can say the other side of the coin for life alignment concept, that is choice. Life alignment can solve most of the problems, but if still there's any confusion, then these other tools will help. Try to see objectively what choices you have. Sometimes there might be various choices. Many times there won't be. And once you make the right choice, you will feel that was the obvious and the only choice you had. Moreover, when you don't feel like living by choosing the other choice, then there actually isn't any choice, right? So ask yourself this. Do I actually have a choice here? If you said yes, ask what are the choices. Then ask which will move me towards life. If you are able to point at one of the choices for that question, now ask again, do I have a choice? If you are not able to do so, you will have to use other decision making tools. 3. You will die. I've already talked about this too in the second episode, Read Your Obituary. People tend to postpone living, assuming and considering their duration of life for granted. That is, they assume they live for a long time. And that assumption will cover the person's perspective with various delusions or myths. Example, I'll work hard for a few days, months, or years now, and then be happy after that. I think that is the biggest myth told by anyone and everyone. This is costing hugely on youth's growth. They are in confusion their entire life because of this. Because whatever they are trying to do, they are still seeking happiness. Happiness should never be and seen as a future happening. Happiness should be a choice in the now, right? They should be happy now also. And moreover, how do you know? Do we know our death date? No, right? Then how can you assume I live this way after I earn X amount of money, or after I have my own mansion, or after my parents are pleased with me, or after I have a good story that society accepts and loves? Whatever it is that you want to pursue or work towards, and however that you want to live that life right now. Because the fact is you will die, and you don't know when. And by this realization, not only can one easily move with death when the time arrives, knowing he or she has lived a life of fulfillment, but also you will know how to live the life now. 4. Do or not do. Almost any movement is better than stagnation. Be a plus or minus, but not a zero. I wrote that in 2021. Of course, The more you are aware, the better. But many times, people tend to choose to not work because of some lame excuse. Action is really, really important in one's life. We all know that. So ask yourselves this: does this decision make me do something or not do anything? 5. Deep end. We talked about this in the episode The Biggest Problem for Humanity. We don't think enough. The life alignment model can solve these too. But if you do not think deeply enough, no mental model can help you. What I mean here is that you must ask yourselves and try to see the core reason for the decision you are making. Like in my favorite example, if you are going to college because you want a seat in a better college for higher studies, and the reason for that is you want to get a good job, and that is because you want to make money, then the whole intention behind going to college is to make money, right? So you think that is the only way to make money? Or you think that is the only way you have to make money? For both, the objective answer is no, by the way. This is just one kind of example. There are a lot of ways people are getting trapped by not thinking enough. You might be choosing between two streams, careers, jobs, or whatever. Just dig deep enough to know why you are actually leaning towards that side. Did you choose the latter because you think you aren't competent for the first? Or did you choose the latter because you've already spent a lot of time wasting on it? You can search sunk cost fallacy if you do not know already what that is. Or did you choose the first because you think that's the only way? And speaking of the only way, 6. Assumption scraper. Oh my god, this is huge. Almost every day, people are falling into this trap of their own assumptions. Again, it's due to the lack of thinking. But I'm not talking about the quantity of thinking here. When I say it is due to lack of thinking, it is lack of objective thinking or viveka. In fact, if you have viveka, you don't have to have any decision-making tool. It is just how viveka works, right? So these tools are nothing but outcomes of viveka as SOPs or as mental models or as frameworks, right? You can use them again and again. That is why these become useful. Even though if you have viveka, all these mental models or frameworks will be so obvious to you, so natural. You don't have to read it anywhere. So what I mentioned here as an assumption scraper is actually our viveka. Scrapping off your assumptions that have sedimented on your vision. Assumptions are the core bodies of delusions. Assumptions are of various kinds. Assuming this is the only way is the most common one, I think. Assuming your curiosity is your intuition trying to pursue something is another significant one, right? Many youngsters fall into this trap. In fact, as mentioned before, the idea that you will be alive after this and that is also an assumption and creates and makes a powerful delusion, right? So what to do? Scrap it all off. Start from scratch. Don't start from an assumption itself. Start with facts. If you think you are at a crossroad right now, not having a clue of which way to go, I hope this helps you. I hope you received excellent value in today's episode. To know more, head over to sanatkumarnahibi.com, and if you haven't already, check out my book, The Flower of Fulfillment. Thank you for listening, and I wish you have a great day.